heard lately, like over the past few years, especially on social media at that time when everyone's making their New Year's resolutions and talking about them, that there's a large and growing number of people that will say, I don't make them anymore because no one ever follows through. Have you guys seen that?
I never made them because I know I don't follow through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way. It's just kind of like, well, that's fun. That's a fad. That's something that we could all just jump into. But in the end, what's the point?
Well, it's fascinating too because, you know, at the gym, like it's actually the most miserable time is January. Like January 1st, you go, like every machine is taken, the classes are jam-packed. And for those that go routinely, it's like, you know, they're not going to stay. It's not like this is going to be consistent. So it's just kind of like you roll your eyes and you're like, okay, I'm going to deal with, you know, waiting in line for a machine. But it's true. Like we are, you know, the average time for a resolution to fall flat on its face is like a few weeks. And then, you know, 6 weeks in, like most people are done.
So why is that? Why is it that we first of all commit to something? Why do we want to have a resolution?
Well, because we recognize things in our life that aren't working. Why it doesn't work, these New Year's resolutions, is that we're like, okay, you know, the month of December, you're sitting around like, okay, what's it going to be? What am I going to do? What do I want to change? It's the end of a year. And we all have those times in our life. For me, like I always have like this new beginning feel around fall time, like September, because I think it's like there's relief from heat, but also it's like the school year. I'm just still like, there's all that training from my childhood of, it's a new start. It's a fresh start, a new class, a new teacher. It's a time to start over again. So I think like there's something to that. You know, you can, if it motivates you, if those cycles of life, like if that actually helps you, great.
Right.
But if you're just like, I'm supposed
jumping
to,
on the bandwagon.
This is the thing that, I've got to change. And it's like this heavy like guilt, or I'm not doing what I should be doing. So now I'm really going to do it this year. Like if that's energy you're putting into it, it's not going to last. And I think that waiting for, like, especially if it's like, okay, my New Year's resolution is going to be to go to the gym. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to start in January. And you've still got like 3 or 4 weeks ahead of
So
you.
when people come up to you, what's your New Year's resolutions? You think how fun it would be say, well, last August, I decided I wanted to do this. And you know, it gets them thinking and helps you.
Well, and not only that, if you could say last August, I decided that I'm going to improve this and I'm doing it now and these are my results. Yeah. Like I don't wait for New Year's.
Yeah.
So why do we need to wait for a holiday or this feeling? You know, I think we all can identify with that feeling of a new start. Why do we need to wait?
Well, and it's interesting that the conditioning of, it's either I start on Monday or I start at the beginning of the month or I start at the beginning of the year. It's really, can you actually start on those days when you've gone through a period of time of actually not doing anything? Because from Halloween on till January 1st, we're all just waiting for the party to happen. And then once the party's done, it's like, okay, now I need to get to work when I've spent more than 21 days to create a habit, right? I've spent these 21 days being lazy or 21 days of preparing for a party. I haven't been preparing myself for the resolution. So when that resolution hits, what are we waiting for? We're conditioned for, where's the party? So then we're waiting for Valentine's to show up, you know, and so it's just kind of like,
well, and it's worked up in your mind. So like when you actually get down to business and the hard work, it's like, oh, this isn't fun,
right?
You know, like you build it up and like, yeah, things are going to change. It's going to be awesome. And you're expecting to have that, like, it's just going to be awesome the whole time. Like, you know, and it can be, and you might have moments, but if you need that to keep going, you're going to be like desperately,
you know, I think the thing that makes resolutions work is having other people doing the same things, having accountability partners with you. The time that we did a juice cleanse together, we kind of had a resolution going there that we wanted a healthier life. And
at that time too, I hadn't decided how long, because I had started a few weeks before you guys did it, and I hadn't decided how long or when I would finish. But because you guys decided to do it, it actually helped me. Like, okay, I can commit to another week, and it helped me fulfill and go longer, and actually, you know, like say, okay, I can do the number I was kind of scared to admit I wanted to do. And it was because I had the accountability. And if I, like if you guys are doing it because you were inspired because I started it and I didn't finish, like that would really suck.
Well, look at the time frame as well. We pick resolutions that it's like, this is my New Year's resolution, and we go to exercise. How can you exercise for 365 days consistently and not have any sick days or not have any interruptions?
No, but you shouldn't do that anymore.
But what's the decision? Right? So if we switch it and say, well, what is really the decision? The decision is, I resolve to be a different type of person. Yeah. And that different type of person may do a juice cleanse for a week, not for a year. There's certain things that you shouldn't do for more than 21 days. But there are habit building things that you should create.
I like what you said, because it's not what you're doing. It's not the actions, although those are important. It's who are you becoming?
Right.
And when you actually identify who you want to be, like that core of who you are,
yep.
It may mean that it looks this way, or you might have the best set intentions of like, okay, I'm going to be healthy. Let's just use health for an example, because this year, I have 20 pounds I want to lose. I want to gain some muscle. I want to be stronger. I want to have more endurance. And so you have this idea of what it should look like. But if you're stuck on that idea, you might end up doing things that are actually harmful for your body, or really not what's best or optimal. But if you're instead, your goal is like, I want to think like a healthy person. I want to make deliberate, calculated decisions and master my appetite and master, what that looks like to be somebody who is conscious of health and optimizing my body. And then, and as you focus on becoming that person, your path could look totally different than what you think it should look like, because now you're open to receiving inspiration to actually get you where you want to be. So who are you becoming, not what is it you're doing? Mm-hmm. What kind of person are you?
That's exactly what I think is the key, because now you're in alignment with the true reason why you want to maybe look a certain way, but you're not focusing on, it's not just about carving the body to look a certain way. It's about a mindset.
Yep.
It's about a principle of health that you want incorporated into a lifestyle.
Yep.
And I think when we get to that why, when we get to that core, like you said, it's so much easier when things get hard, because they will. Most all of the time, in my experience, when you're changing yourself, it's not always easy. It is always, if it's in alignment with who you truly are and who you truly want to be, it's always beneficial and rewarding and good. But the process is not always easy, because just changing from what's familiar to unfamiliar is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Sometimes. And so when we we get real clear with ourselves on what we want, then our resolve is anchored in a correct principle.
I think like when we're creating these resolutions and goals in our life, whether it's, January 1st or July 1st, right?
Right.
Who am I? Who do I want to become? Who is the person that I want to be at the end of it? Not like, because there is importance
it's the why,
in setting
not the what.
Yeah.
Not what do I want? Why do I want?
Yeah. And when it gets hard, if you have that why, because it will get hard, like that's just lying. There's a lot of people and coaches out there that'll say like, oh, it just gets to be easy. And it can be. And I've had experiences where it has been easy, but there are some days, some moments, some periods of time where it's just simply not.
Right.
And when you have that why in place, you give yourself a reason why it's important to get up, why it's important to go ahead and do the task that will bring you the result that you want, because you know why you want it.
Yeah.
So it's it's all about the frequency of how often you visit your decision, your why. And the more frequent you can be, the higher vibration, the higher energy, the higher the result. The lower the frequency, if I'm only visiting my why once every month, then I can lose my focus, my laser focus. The other part of it is consistency. So it's not saying I must do this every day, and if I go one day and I fail, then I've failed 100%.
That's rigidity.
Yeah. It's consistency in saying that I continue to be this the rest of my life. This is what I desire. So no matter what happens, this is what I do. And there's going to be days I recognize that I won't be able to do it. So it's that frequency and the consistency that actually helps us get to where we need to.
But don't beat yourself up on those days that you don't do it.
Well, and I
Yeah,
think
you
it's
should beat yourself up on it.
Well, but if there's some extenuating circumstances that create you not to do it that day, realize, look how far I've come, and I can continue.
Yes.
Right, it all
I've
adds
got
up.
this
Grace.
bump in the
Having
road.
grace.
Grace.
because when you become a new creature, which is what you're creating, right? It's I am now the kind of person that creates that to happen. And when you become that creature, it doesn't matter when that day goes by, because there's no question in your mind that the following day I'm back on target.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, that happened. All right. Well, it doesn't affect who I am. I already know what I'm doing, and I'm
You
right
don't
back
give
in
up.
the game.
You don't give up. 'cause
It's
you
like
missed it. Yeah.
it's how, like, with the, I mean, I went 3 weeks with that juice cleanse where I could not go and do my normal workout routine and my exercise for my goals that I was creating. But when it was over, it wasn't like a question of, am I going to go back? Oh, this is hard. And I knew that going back would be difficult because I had spent 3 weeks without toning some muscles, and they were going to be sore, and I was going to probably have a week of like, it hurts to walk. But because I had changed who I am, it wasn't a question. It wasn't a decision I had to make. It was just, okay, this is what it takes. This is what it's going to be. It might hurt. It might not be fun. But this is who I am now.
And I think oftentimes that's the principle behind this gets to be easy.
Yeah.
It's not that it's actually easy. It's that once you make the choice, half the battle is over.
The decision to get up and do it is done.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's so true.
Yeah,
It's
most
so
of the
true.
battle is the worry, the doubt, the frustration,
The jumping.
trying to go and do it.
Focusing on all the negative stuff that can come with change.
Yeah.
In
Instead
fact,
of all the positive stuff
Yeah.
that can come with change.
and I would say we talked earlier about, like, you know, why wait for a date or tomorrow or Monday to start. I would say, like, why are you even waiting until tomorrow? Because often, like, okay, I'm going to have to change. So tomorrow I'm going to start this. Start today.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that you have to start like, well, then I would do in the morning. So now I got a whole bunch, like a half a day I have to catch up for all those things I would do. Start where you're at. What can I do now to get on that schedule? Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait another minute. When you know that something is right and something is going to move you forward to where you want to be, and you're willing to commit to it, start now.
And you
Not
get that
tomorrow.
momentum going. That's the hard part, is the momentum. Once you get that going,
Can you imagine cutting out that whole anticipation of what it's going to be like, even if it's like just tomorrow? You've got a whole rest of your evening or day where you're like, okay, tomorrow. What if you just cut that whole part out and you're like, no, I'm starting. I'm already on the path. There's no anticipation. There's no waiting. I'm just there. I'm doing it.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, at first I was feeling a little like, no, it's okay if you need to take a few days to prepare. But I hear what you're saying. Like, start where you can. Because I think in our culture, there is a lot of, it's all or nothing. It's perfection or failure. And it's not. We have to learn to be patient with ourselves and persistent instead of all or nothing, perfection or failure.
And I personally struggle with all or nothing. So I have like this,
Me too.
I have this
Oh my
project
gosh.
right now that I'm working on, and it's really about, like, you know, I'm striving to figure out how to be a 10 out of 10 in the areas of my life that I'm working on. And so what I found myself this habit, and I was really like getting really clear. It was kind of one of those cool moments where I'm not like triggered by what's going on, but I'm like stepping back and I'm like observing what I'm doing.
Interesting.
This is very interesting. So I what ends up happening for me is that I want it to be perfect. So if I'm going to come at it and create a plan, I need to have all my ducks in a row. I need to be able to understand what that means and what it looks like, and it's got to be perfect. So then I sit down to do it, and I'm like, this is too heavy. How can I create perfection in like an hour in the morning before my kids are up and I have quiet time? And so then guess what I do? I don't do it.
Yep.
And then my visionary part of me, I'm like, okay, go have fun. Like, I don't want to do the work, go have fun. And so I'll like distract myself with something that I find enjoyable. And so it's this battle of Oracle, my task oriented brain that says I want everything in this order, and I'm like, but I just want to have fun. And they're like battling each other. And I was realizing this morning, and I'm like, oh my gosh, just start. It doesn't have to all be figured out right now. Just like, okay, I have 15 minutes today. Let's pick one aspect. What does a 10 out of 10 look like? for me to get this task done or to work on this particular goal. And then I can, jot down some notes, and then the next time I have a moment, go back, and after a while, like, it's going to create a big picture.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to start to feel, good about what I'm doing, and it's going to be meaningful, and I'm going to want to do it. I'm going to want to sit down and figure it out because I'm seeing and feeling the results. So just get started.
Well, and
Don't wait another day.
You got to build in the fun.
Yeah.
You got to build in the rest periods. You got to say, I'm going to be working on this, and at this point, I receive the reward of rest.
Yeah.
I was taught by a great mentor who said, you will be sprinting a lot of times, and you'll be walking a lot of times. You'll be resting a lot of times. It's all part of the marathon to get to where you want to get to. And if you don't expect that, then you're just going to it's just going to come as default. It's like, I exercised for 2 weeks and I got tired and I got interrupted, and I didn't build that into my plan to take some time to rest.
Well, like, exercise is perfect, right? Because if you don't take those rests, you'll injure yourself and then disable yourself from being able to continue.
So in the end, all of this adds up to a resolve of, this is the type of person that I am. And, I loved how you referred to, this is part of the picture, so that picture could be black and white, and it could be just kind of blurry and all that. But if we actually put some detail into it, put some color into it, then it's something we want to be proud of and hang up on our wall and say, that's my life. And so we looking at every aspect, we can then say, oh, I get to have this much fun. I get to do this much rest. I get to have quality sleep. I get to also work hard and push hard. I get to have it all. Right?
Yeah.
Well, and I realized too that I was shaming the fun because I was choosing that instead of the important things that needed to happen. And so then all of a sudden, like, fun became like a guilty pleasure.
Yes.
It's not, I didn't earn that. It wasn't good. And so, like, I'm actually, like, demeaning and criticizing something that's super important. There's nothing wrong with fun and enjoying life. I mean, we're supposed to enjoy life. God created this world for us to enjoy and find pleasure in. And instead of like just utilizing and figuring out how to have that at the right times and the right moments to help me move forward at the right pace, I was shaming every time that I had fun, because what it really signified was that I didn't do this, and I'm choosing fun instead of the important tasks. But I get to have both.
Yeah.
So it was really kind of a cool awareness to have this morning, and like, oh, interesting pattern. And now that I know what that pattern is, I can disrupt it and create a new one.
And there's a big part of the law of attraction, this law that says, I want something, so how do I attract that into my life? Well, the biggest part of that is having the right energy. And so if we're in this mindset of, I need to accomplish these things, we're actually not in the mindset or the energy of attraction. We're actually putting things off. And so it's good to do tasks and get things done, but the biggest part of the law of attraction is celebration and gratitude energy. That's what, if I'm out there on Facebook and I'm saying, hey everybody, I accomplished this week, people want to be around me because they see the success that I'm having.
Right.
But if I'm just saying, well, this week I did this and I did this, they're actually like, well, so what? I want to be part of people who are grateful for what they're doing, who are celebrating what they're doing, and that they're intermixing that with those tasks that they're trying to accomplish.
Something interesting I thought of is that, you actually will have people when you do that will repel and that will turn away. Those are usually the people, though, that are gravitating towards the ones that are saying all the stuff that happened that was bad.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're they want validation. Like, my life is hard. Oh yeah, it is hard. That's so hard. My hard life's hard too. And those people are going to find each other.
Yeah.
So who do you want to find? Are you celebrating life? Are you loving life? Are you living it with a purpose? Do you have your why for what you're doing? Are you becoming a new creature with your goals? Is that what you're focused on, and you're celebrating those accomplishments, and you're working together? Is that the crowd you want, or do you want the one that's, my life is hard? Please validate how hard my life is.
Yeah.
Like, what energy do you want to be surrounded in? What energy is actually helping you get what you want?
Well, and that gratitude needs to be an expression, once again, of what I've resolved. I resolved who I'm becoming. I look on Facebook and YouTube channels, and I see people doing exercise every single day. them exercising every day didn't show the type of person that they are. I still don't know who they are. I know that they exercise every day. I know that they love exercise, but as a person, they're not well developed because they don't express who they are. They don't say, I'm so grateful for the type of person I become because of this exercise. They put the action or the external motivator in front of who they really are.
And recognition of you work out every day.
Right.
It's not about why. What are you creating?
Right.
Who are you becoming because of that? How is that getting you closer to what you...
And that's really what a robot is. In the end, it's I do this task every day, and that's not a person.
But we're trained at copying, like you do it, this person's successful, so I'm going to do everything that they do. It's really great to surround yourself with people that have accomplished what you want, but you cannot, you can't just make a mold. It won't look the same. You have to figure out.
We are unique individual.
Yeah.
In the end, the mentors that I wanted to be like, I've learned that I don't want to be exactly like them.
Right.
And they don't want that either. They want me to be me.
You can only be you. That's the only powerful. You'll just be you pretending to be somebody else. That's,
Right.
Yeah, that's not really you.
So that's resolutions.
So
what have we learned?
Yeah, what is the number one tip that you would share on creating a resolution?
I think it's about getting to the why.
The why.
Get to your why.
Why.
And then starting your New Year's resolution today.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
It's consistently doing the New Year's resolution all the time.
What does that look like? How do you be that person now instead of waiting until tomorrow morning?
What's one step I can take right now?
First,
And have patience.
Love persistence.
Yourself.
An accountability partner if you need it.
And every perceived failure is just a lesson.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
If you're just building that path, you're building a foundation. Now you've learned one thing that's not working. So figure out the lesson. What did you learn? What will work better? And then try again. That's the definition of success, is who you are, what effort that you're bringing to it. Are you coming a 10 out of 10 in what you're trying to accomplish? Even if it doesn't get you where you want to go, did you show up with all the effort that you could give to it? That's success. Because it's that work and that dedication to that lifestyle and living in that way that will ultimately get you where you want to go. Even if it's not immediately you're seeing those results right away.
I'm excited for the new year and the now. And
me too. Because I'm doing it right now. I'm not waiting till the new year. It's just part of life now. It's what's not working. How can I make it better? And let's do it.
Yeah.